Hi, I'm Adrienne Bankert here on Morning in America. We've partnered with Patch, a trusted hyper-local news site serving more than 1,200 communities nationwide to bring you the top feel-good stories across the nation each week. Here's what you're seeing on Patch right now.
In February, Russia invaded Ukraine, resulting in Europe's largest refugee crisis since World War II. Many Americans wanted to help the cause, including veteran and former Chicago police officer Harrison Jozefowicz. He left the police force and traveled to Ukraine to help on the front lines. And now that he's back home safe, he's asking Americans to do more. And Harrison joins us now from Chicago. Good morning to you. Thank you for being here.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for having me.
So you're no stranger to working on the front lines, but what made you trade in your job as a police officer to help in Ukraine?
Well, that actually comes from a year ago. I actually lost a very good friend of mine in the Afghanistan withdrawal, Staff Sergeant Ryan Canals. So all I knew is that I needed to, when the refugee crisis kicked off in Ukraine, go there and help however I could.
So describe the situation there, what you saw, what you were doing, talk about the supplies you were helping to deliver.
Right. So what Task Force Yankee primarily does is we would go to the front lines, the remote villages where you didn't see the larger NGOs, and then we would deliver supplies and medical training. And then from there, we would take those same displacements or refugees and take them away from the front lines.
So it must have been pretty heartbreaking to see what people were going through. What surprised you about the situation?
The amount of trauma that these unbelievable stories that are being told to you are immense. And again, we're just trying to do our part to lessen that trauma and the deaths as much as possible.
And I know you're making this effort to bring awareness and to get more Americans to help, maybe not in the same way that you did, but to help in some way. What kind of help do the Ukrainian people need? And what do you want Americans to know and remember about the struggle in Ukraine?
Yeah, so we are a registered 501c3 with the U.S. government, Task Force Yankee. You can find us on Facebook or taskforceyankee.net. That's how you can help us. You know, we do a lot of good work. We've completed over 100 supply missions. We've also helped over 100 refugee families and 500 displacements. And then on top of that, the number one thing to remember in Ukraine is that what people are now experiencing, especially foreign private citizens and especially some governments, is what we like to call compassion fatigue, where it gets hard for people to keep caring about a war that isn't happening in their own backyard. So what we try to do is, constantly remind people like, hey, there are still thousands of people fleeing previously held Russian occupied territory. And the stories that come from those people are just astounding for what they've had to go through.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was on everyone's radar at the beginning of the invasion. And as it stretches on, some of that goodwill starts to fade, or at least it fades from the spotlight. So it's so important, the work you're doing. And we so appreciate you being here to share it with us this morning. Thank you so much.
No, I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Those are our top feel-good stories from Patch. Keep watching Morning in America live starting at 7 a.m. 6 Central Time weekdays only on NewsNation.